I can't get these PREDAPLANT names. Screw it. I'm just going to take a shot at it. What's the worst that could happen? PREDAPLANT?
That was really bad.
Good afternoon, Genesys gamers. I'm MBT, and this is 100-point playtesting. Let's continue our climb through Blazing Dominion. In an affront against myself, and all of my fellow mispronouncers, Konami has decided that PREDAPLANT deserves to be playable. I've been practicing Chlamydia Sundew all week. Anyway, here's PREDAPLANT. So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Looking for a place to find inspiration for Genesys decks? Well, look no further. I've already spent years telling you about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the best repository of deck lists, strategy articles, third-party assistance with alternate ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, and card collection management on the internet. But right now, it's also the best way to find Genesys lists. You can sort by deck type, filter high-level tournaments to see what's been working, and download decks you see in any format you desire. That's why I'm proud to be sponsored by www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's poke at PREDAPLANT. PREDAPLANT is a complicated archetype, a series of plant monsters that facilitate fusion summoning. Their lasting legacy on the game is as a bunch of decent super polymerization targets and a big dumb engine for combos, since Darling Tonia Cobra searches for anything with fusion in the name. But finally, after a decade of releases, the soil is fertile for a combo deck in the TCG, after the release of their upcoming Overframe. Yeah, unfortunately, the current state of the deck has too low a ceiling to get into the weeds with the top tier. In Genesys, however, a lower ceiling isn't all bad, and this deck gets to fill a niche like nothing else by being the best deck at activating Super Poly 6 times in one turn. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, a newbie. PREDAPLANT Little Lizard says if you control a PREDAPLANT or a Starving Venom, and this card is in your hand, you can special summon it, then you can add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. You can target a face a monster on the field that becomes dark until the end of the turn, and if special summoned from the graveyard, you can draw a card. PREDAPLANT Longophilia says if this card is normally special, you can add a PREDAP from your deck to your hand, except Longophilia, and it can be banished from the graveyard to either put a Predator counter on something and set it to level 1, or set a polymerization from your graveyard or banishment. We're on 3 Orphris Scorpio, 2 copies of Biblisp, 1 Chlamydia Sundew, and 1 Darling Tonia Cobra. We are also on a free agent, Princess Drancia, the Thirsting Tree. You can send a level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it becomes a set monster's level. You can banish a plant and this card from the graveyard, a special dragon. Fun fact about this card, circular, it is not. We are playing 3 copies of Primitive. New card PogChamp, new card PogChamp. Send a Predap from your deck to the graveyard, except Primitive, add a polymerization or a fusion spell from your deck to your hand. Also, you are locked into plants and dragons for the rest of the turn. If a monster is special to your opponent's field, you can banish this card from the graveyard, and then afterwards you can target a fusion monster you control, destroy it. That comes up more than you'd think. We're on 3 Illusion Gate, 2 Small World, and 1 Super Pooper Polymerization. This card allows you to pay 2,000 life points, target an effect monster of the field, special from your extra deck, a card with the same type and attribute but a different level, then apply one of these effects, and of course it is spell speed 4. Either fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using the special summoned monster, the targeted monster, or send the special monster to the graveyard. We've got 2 Small World, a fusion sub, and a Preda Pruning for traps. We're just on the Preda Planning. Then for pointed cards, we're on 3 Super Polymerization, 3 Fuelos, 3 Nibiru, and 3 Ghost Ogre. In the extra, we've got a Starving Venom Preda Power Fusion Dragon, Trift Overdum, Venom Fusion Dragon, Dragostapelia ×2, Chimera Rafflesia, Fata Dragna, a TCG exclusive, which can be made with 2 monsters that have the same type and attribute but different levels. Your opponent can't target fusion monsters you control with card effects, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck in defense, negate its effects, return it to the deck during the end phase. Also, for the rest of the turn, you can't special summon except for fusions. This was tailor-made for this deck. We've got 2 Ambulo Melodies, a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, and then Crystal Wing, Black Rose, PREDAPLANT Bal-Tay, which says if Synchro Summon, you can special summon a PREDAPLANT or a Starving Venom from your face-up extra deck or graveyard. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can banish a poly and this card from your graveyard, fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. And then the pointed cards, 1 Garura and 1 Bramble Rose Dragon, which is a little bit of extension. In the side, we've got Artifact Lancias, Radians, 1 copy of Predaprime Fusion, Triple Blizzard, Triple DD Crow, and pulling up the rear is 2 Cosmic Cyclones. So with that, let's hop in a game. Our match is going to be up against Pumpkin Biker, and oh my god. Oh, what is this? This is like the worst hand the deck can possibly produce. Though shockingly, it is still combo. We're going to begin with a copy of Biblis. We'll special summon a copy of the Lizard from hand. We'll activate the Fusion Substitute to go to Ambulum Melodies, activate its effect and the effect of the Biblis as well, to grab an Orpheus Scorpio as well as a copy of Primitive. Afterwards, we're going to go ahead and fire off that Primitive to send a Darlingtonia Cobra, to which our opponent chains a DD Crow. Alright, okay. We'll have to settle for Super D-Duper Polymerization on our way to Ambulum Melodies into Orpheus Scorpio, activate the effect, pitch this copy of Orpheus for a Longophilia effect in order to grab a copy of PREDAPLANT. After that, we can just go ahead and activate the effect of our Fusion Substitute to draw a card, and then Link Row Synchro off for a Balte. We'll activate its effect to bring back the Lizard. We'll grab this Nibiru off the top of our deck, then go Bramble Rose into Black Rose, activate the effect of the Bramble Rose to bring back the Longophilia, and make a Crystal Wing. After that, we can Longophilia in order to bring back the Biblisp and activate Super D-Duper Polymerization for a Chimera Rafflesia in a Dragostapelia set 3 pass. I mean, it could be worse. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Goblin Zombie and go to the battle phase. Rough hand from them too. That'll go to the yard. They will go ahead and grab a Stare of the Snake Hair. Afterwards, they're going to be able to activate the effect of their Stare in hand for an Ectoplasmic Fortification. They will then just go ahead and unsurprisingly fire off the Ectoplasmic Fortification for a Pumpkin, the King of Grave Ghosts. I'm fine with all of this. The Super Polymerization checks this really nicely, so they're going to set a Call of the Haunted, pitch the Pumpkin, then afterwards activate Call of the Forgotten to set another one from deck. Here they'll activate Call of the Haunted. We'll activate PREDAPLANT as they get back Pumpkin. They'll activate Pumpkin 1 and then the effect of Call 2, targeting our Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. That's going to send it, but as soon as they have 2 Darks on their side of the field, we can just go ahead and Super Polymerization those away for a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. They'll set one more in pass turn, and we'll be able to pop that Call of the Forgotten as well. Let's normal summon the Orpheus Scorpio, activate the effect. That's going to be met with the Call of the Haunted for a Stare of the Snake Hair. We'll summon the Longophilia, and right, it can just negate in chain. No big deal. Let's just dodge with the Super Polymerization. So it's time for game 2, and this is a great going second hand. Look at that, 4 hand craps and a 1-card Sharder. Opponent's going to begin with a copy of Ectoplasmic Fortification for a Pumpkin Man. They are then going to activate the effect of a Goblin Biker's Gone Wild, which is a perfect target for the Fuwalos. They're going to get a Doug Charger from deck, and we're going to get really frustrating draw into a Grand Breakout. After that, they're just going to go ahead and activate the Grand Breakout for a 3, activate the effect of the Clatter Sploder to bring back a 3, and then make a Big Gabonga. Big Gabonga here is really fertile ground for a Ghost Ogre, so after they go for the Pumpkin in order to grab a Call of the Haunted, they are going to pitch the Pumpkin and then activate the Call of the Haunted afterwards. We'll DD Crow the target, they'll set 2, go to the end phase, and we'll just go ahead and pop that Gabonga before he's a problem. From here, we should be able to win, even though we have a Balatro hand. We'll begin with a copy of Orpheus Scorpio, pitching the Darlingtonia Cobra for the 3rd Longophilia. Longophilia to grab a Primitive, and from here, we should just be able to wipe it up. We'll activate the effect of the Primitive, sending a Biblisp, and enabling us to get a Super Polymerization. We will, of course, then be able to activate the effect of the Biblisp for another Orpheus Scorpio. Ding, 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 full house. We'll Synchro off for Baltea. We'll bring back the Darlingtonia Cobra, and what do you know? We get to activate its effect anyway. Next, we're going to go ahead for Super D-Duper Polymerization for a Chimera Rafflesia and an Ambulum Melodies, whose effect we will trigger for a Lil Lizard. And then after that, of course, we can just go ahead and special out the Lil Lizard to our side of the field and Synchro for a Bramble Rose into a Black Rose. We'll use the effect of the Bramble Rose for another Longophilia into Crystal Wing, and then afterwards we will Longophilia and bring back this copy of Biblis. We'll activate the effect of the Ambulum Melodies to trigger it for a Chlamydio Sundew. We'll activate the effect in order to make another Ambulum Melodies, then we can fuse some stuff off for a Starving Venom Fusion Predapower. We'll go to the battle phase and attack in. We'll activate the effect of our Crystal Wing. That's going to do 3, and then we'll do 36. We'll go to main phase 2, set a couple of cards, and pass back to our opponent, but I'm feeling pretty good from this position. They're going to normal summon a copy of Tour Guide. We'll just negate it. They will Ghost Ogre it, but that doesn't resolve the outstanding issue, which is the big stinking guy on field. All right, we'll go to main 1, normal summon a copy of Orpheus Scorpio, pitch a Longophilia for a Biblisp, and activate the effect of the Longophilia in order to reset the Fusion Substitute. From here, we can Fusion Sub into Ambulum Melodies, then activate the effect of the Ambulum Melodies for a Preda Pruning. After that, we will grab a copy of the Lizard to hand, and we can activate the effect of the Fusion Sub in order to draw a card as well. Oh, hey, it's this one! We haven't gotten to see Drancia yet. We'll go for Super Polymerization for Dragostapelia. We'll trigger the effect of the Drancia, bring back a Crystal Wing, and get in for well over lethal. So we're back with the deck, and yeah, I think that sums it up pretty nicely. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, Drancia is a crazy good card, and you can make plays before Nibiru comes down, and if they Nibiru you, you just get to keep playing. 2, Super Polymerization. No one's prepared for this card at all, and you've got 3 extremely good targets. And 3, there's a lot of decks in the format that are just kind of weak when it comes to combat. This is not one of them. You are going to push for lethal. And the cons. 1, deck has 12 starters, so sometimes you are just going to draw a bunch of normals. 2, you get fucked by the turn enders. Shifters, drolls, as rare as they may be, are total nightmares. And 3, no instant fusion hurts. It's at 100 in Genesys, and it's so instrumental to the deck's game plan. All in all, probably not.